Meet Paul Buzzo. Paul Buzzo's an 11-year-old kid who, back in 1965, somewhere around there, was concerned with all of the wildfires. And legend has it that he was talking to Mommy, and Mommy explained to him what the current law was back in 1965, that you couldn't flick a cigarette out of the car window. And little Buzzo, the little Buzzo boy, said, "But Mommy, roads don't burn." So the Mommy encouraged little Buzzo to take the matter up with the legislature, and the California legislature, inspired by the little Buzzo boy, added California Vehicle Code 23111, which says that you can't flick a lit cigarette out not only from a vehicle, but also from a sidewalk. And that's just the that's just the basic gist of the little Buzzo boy and what he's responsible for. And if you go back to 1965, the building codes weren't the same as they are now, and most of the roadways didn't have sidewalks. So if you were walking along the side of the road, yeah, there was a good chance there'd be brush there, and you throw your cigarette down, and it was probably a possibility that you could start a fire back in 1965. But we're not in 1965 anymore. And I can't help but wonder if the little Buzzo boy, when he was so excited to go to the California legislature and get a law passed and get a law named after him, I wonder if he knew that he would be responsible for this, if he would have been so excited.
He's citing me for action.
You're smoking right by dry brush.
I'm not dry brush.
Deputy Jenkins, how are you?
Hey, you're not allowed to flick a lit cigarette out.
You're a bitch.
Flicking it? You have your ID on you?
I don't.
Okay, what's your name?
Why would I need to get that?
Because you're committing a crime right now.
I'm not flicking it.
Yes,
If it
you are.
just falls on the ground, it's
Put
not
your
me.
cigarette out, please.
Where do you want to put it out?
Put it out on the ground. Put your
So
cigarette
you want me
out.
to put it out on the ground?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Now put it out. Put it out. Moton.
How do you want to put it out?
Detain him. You're being detained right now because you're being uncooperative.
Wow.
Handcuffs. Okay. Take him to the back seat. Put him in the back seat.
You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Get the fuck out of here, fat boy. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You ain't gonna do shit.
I'll be right with you, sir. Can you handle this first? Is he a friend of you guys? You guys know him? No, he goes in the back seat. He goes in the back pocket. In the back seat. That's... ID him and then cite him. If he doesn't want to be ID'd, we'll take him back to the station to be ID'd. Does he have an ID in his wallet? No ID? Not find out.
These 3 blue line tyrannical pigs from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Lancaster Station, conspired to seize an American citizen for a non-custodial, non-jailable minor infraction, bound him in shackles, and imprisoned him in the back of a police vehicle. To make matters worse, if that's even possible, the seizing pig lies and falsely accuses his victim of being uncooperative because he dared to ask a question for clarification. To make matters even more worse, if that's even possible, I'm going to make the argument here that these 3 tyrannical pigs lied and fabricated an offense that was not even committed. California Vehicle Code Section 23111 states, "No person in any vehicle and no pedestrian shall throw or discharge from or upon any road or highway or adjoining area, public or private, any lighted or non-lighted cigarette, cigar match, or any flaming or glowing substance. This section shall be known as the Paul Buzzo Act." So, in order to be in violation of this section, you have to throw or discharge a lighted or non-lighted cigarette, cigar match, or any flaming or glowing substance. So, did Riverside County Accountability do any of those things? Well, let's take a look. So as we look at this video a second time, you got the lying pig in the car accusing River of ashing his cigarette. Then you have the lying pig that walks over to him, demanding that he throw the cigarette, ordering him to throw the cigarette on the ground. So we know that the violations was not for throwing the cigarette on the ground, because if that's the case, that's a clear case of entrapment. So they're going to allege that he was ashing. But in order to be a violation of 23111, the ash has to be flaming or glowing. If it's not flaming or glowing, it's not a violation of 23111. So the first point that I would like to make is that there's no possible way that that lying pig inside of the unit could see whether or not River's ash that fell on the floor was either flaming or glowing. That's the first point. The second point was that River alleges that he never ashed his cigarette, that the ash simply fell off his cigarette onto the ground. That's also not a violation of 23111, because you have to either throw it or discharge it. Falling off of your cigarette by itself is not throwing or discharging. Now, when they say burning or glowing, it's either on fire or it's glowing like a red cherry, or an ember is what you call it. And embers will burn and embers will start fire, but cold ash will not. So just to demonstrate the difference between the two, cold ash versus an ember, and we can rule out flaming because the cigarettes are not flaming. But just to demonstrate the difference between an ember and a cold ash, I did a little backyard experiment here. And I lit a cigarette. I ashed it 3 times on a regular piece of copy paper. And you'll see the results here. The paper does not burn. It does not catch fire. It does not char. There are no burn holes. So the ash that falls on the paper is completely cold. And then I doused the paper with a lighter fluid and did the same experiment. And you'll see the results here. And I'm not ex-President Clinton, so, you know, it's not like I didn't inhale, so you guys get it? So anyways, we're going to be looking at whether or not ash or ashing from this cigarette will actually cause this paper to burn. And this paper is, it's just normal Xerox copy paper that you buy at an office supply store. I think I got this off of Amazon. But it's coffee paper. Copy paper, not coffee paper. And hopefully, I know I'm getting some secondhand smoke here, but hopefully it's not enough to kill me. I'm going to let this burn down a little bit more. Get some ash on this. We'll do a lot of ash and a little ash, and we'll see how much of this cigarette we can burn down. So normally when people are ashing their cigarettes, if an average person is, I don't know, 5.5 foot tall, 5 foot tall, you're going to be ashing from a distance of about approximately 3 feet from the ground, which would give the ash even more time to cool after it leaves the cigarette than we're giving it in this experiment, because we're actually going to be ashing from a distance of probably less than 1 foot. So here we've got the cigarette, it's burned down, and we're going to ash it off. Ashed it onto the paper. So I'm going to chop this up for you and edit it down for time. Here's the second ashing there. There it goes. There's the second ashing there on the paper. I chopped it up for you because the entire experiment took like almost like 30 minutes, so that's a little too long to put here in this video. And there's the third ashing on the same paper. So anyways, there you have it, folks. There is the likelihood that cold ash from a lit cigarette will cause a fire. Now, if you could look at this paper, look at it. I mean, they're other than the color of the ash staining the paperwork, what you have there is a stain, not a burn mark. So there are not even any burn marks or char marks on this paper. Look at that, see? It comes right off. That's a stain right there. That is not a burn or a char mark. So from about 6 inches away, you have zero possibility or zero chance that cigarette is going to light that paper on fire, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to go one better. All right, folks, get into some little pyromania here. We get some Royal Oak all natural clean fuel lighter fluid. You know, I am not Bill Nye the Science Guy, but I'm going to say that it's designed to light fires at lower temperature than gasoline or all right, so this is about the point where somebody would normally ash a cigarette. We're going to do the first ash. Oh my God, I was so scared. And we'll ash the last time. So as you can see, ashing on a substance soaked with an accelerant that is designed to start fires, ashing from approximately a foot away or a little under a foot away will not result in an actual fire. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is the likelihood that when you ash your cigarette that you are throwing or discharging a flaming or glowing substance is zero. And government is simply lying when they claim that ashing your cigarette is a violation of Vehicle Code 23111. So if we go back to the video, the lying pig in the car tells River that he's smoking by dry brush.
Give me for ashing.
You know you're smoking right by dry brush?
This is just another lie from the cop in the car. This is the field where River was standing. It's mostly dirt. There is a little bit of short grass, maybe 15 feet back from the sidewalk where River was standing, and the likelihood that that would cause any sort of significant fire is slim to none, and the likelihood that a cigarette would start that on fire is slim to none based on my experiment. But I didn't stop there. I went to a local firehouse and asked the fireman for his opinion. This firefighter that I spoke with here, he did not want to be identified, and he made it very clear to me that he was not giving me a professional opinion, and that there were specific personnel and departments within the fire department that make determinations like that. But what he did give me was he gave me his personal opinion based on his experience as a firefighter. And the scenario that was set up was that could or would, or what is the likelihood that cold ash falling from the end of a cigarette, not a burning ember or a flame, but cold ash falling from the end of a cigarette would cause a fire in the field where that River was standing in front of? And this is what he said.
In your official capacity, I understand what you're saying. The only thing that I was trying to get from you was based on your training and experience as a firefighter, with those perimeters that I've given you, and if I could get you to acknowledge that there is a difference between a red burning ember and a cool ash, that those are completely two different substances. You know what I mean? A cigarette has a cherry on it and it's red, and one there is a higher likelihood and probability to start a fire than the other. And
that I'll agree with.
Yeah, and I was just based on your experience as a firefighter and your knowledge of basic mechanics and basic fire mechanics. I was just wondering if you would agree that in that scenario, in those parameters, that a cool ash is not the same. The likelihood would be low, and that's acknowledging that it's not a cherry.
Right.
It's not a burning
based
ember.
off what you're telling me.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't there. Based on what you're telling me and the picture that you show me, then I would say there's a low probability of ignition.
Okay.
Based on my experience and the training that I have.
California Vehicle Code 23111 carries some pretty stiff penalties. $700 fine after you get done with your fine and your court costs and your fees, and a mandatory 8 hours of community service. So if there was no throwing or discharging of a lighted or non-lighted cigarette, and there was no throwing or discharging of any flaming or glowing substance, and there was no brush to be burned, you can clearly see that it's mostly dirt and green grass where River was standing. Why did these lying tyrants do all this? Well, they told us why.
He likes walking up on traffic stops and recording and doing his thing and getting involved.
Getting
Now you and your buddy got
involved.
involved. Good for you.
Getting involved. Shut up, idiot.
Hey, what's up, people? If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And also don't forget to subscribe to SGV News First and Riverside County Accountability. I'll put their links down in the description. And once again, thank you for watching.